PNGFM's Radio Rambles. If you haven't already heard, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and we wanted to give you a glimpse of how far we've come and the people behind PNGFM. Thank you for listening in, thank you for interacting with us online, for supporting our clients, and for having us at your events. So how, where, when did it all begin? We sat down with our founding chairman, Mr. William Parkinson.
Well, I suppose it has to start with the foundation of the organisation in Fiji, where we began FM 96 in 1985, and then later Radio Naftarang in 1989, and as a result, particularly of the work that we did with FM 96, we, as the first full commercial radio stations, 24-hour commercial radio stations in the region, we attracted quite a bit of attention from other markets, and we did get some interest from Papua New Guinea early on, and then later in the early 90s we had an approach from a gentleman called Isikeli Toreka, who has his own connection to Fiji through his mother, and he made an approach through friends of ours to see if we would be interested in coming to Papua New Guinea and helping establish a radio station a bit like FM 96 was the kind of brief that we had. And so we came here in 93 and started to look at the opportunities here, realized there was a huge opportunity. And so in partnership with him and a number of other foundation Papua New Guinean shareholders, people like Norio Bianchi, Don Manoa, Garth McElwain, were all kind of early shareholders in the business. We were able to establish NAU FM initially in 1994. And so we took many of the lessons that we learned from FM 96 and brought them to Papua New Guinea. And I think the key thing there was that we were coming as people who had experience in the Pacific. My experience as a Fijian broadcaster, building a business in Fiji, was able to translate to Papua New Guinea, though of course Papua New Guinea is unique in its size and diversity and all those types of things, a whole different range of challenges, but we brought many of those lessons here and the combination has worked, and sort of grown from there. Well, we were fortunate that we already established a relationship with MTV. In fact, one of the early CEOs of MTV had spoken to me a number of years prior to that and said, when you come to PNG, I can help you out with satellite distribution and using the audio subcarriers on their satellite, TV satellite transmission around the country. And so I sort of knew, okay, well that would give us a chance to go nationwide, which is, as I said, that is a huge challenge for Papua New Guinea. And so I had that in the back of my mind. So that was the first opportunity, I think, that came. And then the whole concept of having to run and manage transmission around a country the size of Papua New Guinea was the biggest challenge. We were used to training. One of the things that we were used to walking into a market where we had to start from scratch. That was our history. We'd done that in Fiji already. So that wasn't the problem. It was just getting our head around the scale and the size of Papua New Guinea and the kind of logistical issues that came around that. And I've got to say, it still is a challenge. Of course, for us, our experience in Fiji, it's 40 years in the business,
right.
And so we're about to go our 40th anniversary next year in Fiji. So we've had quite a bit of time to have seen what's going on. I suppose one of the advantages of working in the Pacific is that technology-wise, we're a little bit behind the way. We can see what's coming in what happens in Australia and New Zealand, in particular in the United States. And we've always been very outward-looking. We've always invested in going to the United States, going to Australia and New Zealand, building relationships with broadcasters in all those markets so that we can start to get an idea of where they're heading with these types of things. And the biggest impact on all the, what I call the traditional broadcasters, newspaper, radio, TV, broadcast TV, is obviously the internet and the impact of the internet. And what we have learnt is that we need to embrace the opportunities that come from the internet, and that in fact radio, of all the traditional broadcasters, is the best position to do that, because the internet is a huge monster that feeds on content. I say monster in the best sense. It's just this gigantic machine that just consumes content constantly. And so with the resources that we have in radio, because we're used to 24/7, 365 days of the year creating content, we have to create new content every day, and something that's in our DNA. Then when we translate that to content for the internet, we're already quite well equipped for that. It has required our radio personalities to start to realize that they can't just be radio personalities anymore. There's an old saying about having a face for radio. Now you have to really think about how you're going to present yourself on social media, how you're going to present yourself on video, how you're going to present, and all of that is combined. And that's really the big challenge now. And it's fascinating, it's really exciting that we can then start to think about, nowadays on a radio station, video is just as big a thing as audio, and I never thought I'd see that. And so and that's about radio personality, saying, right, I've got to do my radio show, I've got to then post content for social media on Facebook, Twitter, and so on. And then I've also often going to then be doing video, maybe a little video show that I'll do for online for our websites. All of this stuff is swirling around us, and the opportunities are swirling around us. And so we've got to be really on top of that and ahead of that game. And if we can do that, and we've seen this in Fiji, and Fiji's, in this case, with the spread of the mobile phone companies and the fact that internet and data is very cheap in Fiji, we've seen the impact, a big time impact of internet on the traditional media operators. And in Fiji we've been able to very successfully navigate and maintain our reach, i.e. the number of people that access our products. It's just that more and more of them are accessing our products online. And so we have translated that very effectively, and now we can present that as marketing opportunities for our advertisers and so on. So it's all about maintaining that relationship with our listeners, understanding that now listeners are listening on the radio, yeah, sure, them, and often on the car or on the bus, but they're also often accessing us on their mobile phone. They're accessing via our websites or via social media. They're contacting us and accessing us in so many different ways, not just via the traditional broadcast over the radio.
What's been the most rewarding aspect of, building and running these stations for the last, 3 decades?
I got to say, I know that people often say, for me it's the people I've worked with over the years, and it's been a huge thrill. And one of the things that is a feature of both organizations in Fiji and here is that we have had a lot of young people come through our organization over the years. Some have stuck around, like yourself.
Part of the furniture.
And some have gone on to bigger and better things, both here and in Fiji's case, in Fiji, or overseas. And it's a bit of a thrill for us, my wife and I, who were both involved in the launching of the organization. When we travel nowadays, and as soon as we post something from a new place, we'll get a call from, hey, we work for you, and we work with you in Port Moresby, or we worked with you in Fiji, and come and visit and come and do this. And it really is amazing. The alumni, I like to call them, of the both organizations is incredible. And that, the fact that we've made that kind of impact is probably the biggest thrill for me. Well, that's an interesting one, and particularly when you look at internationally, where it's become commonplace for politicians, particularly a certain type of politician, to build following around disparaging and undermining traditional sources of information, fake media and all that kind of stuff. And so really the traditional way in which people get information has been totally disrupted. I'm still a believer in the fact that ultimately trusted legacy sources of information will survive, and I suspect will make a big comeback. I think as human beings, and we will learn lessons from this period that we're going through now. But, and there's a big but on this, those legacy sources of information in traditional media have to stay relevant, and they have to stay in touch with changes in technology, and they have to stay in touch with the needs of users today. And so that's the big but, and it's critical that we do that. I think in our markets, where we are playing a role in promoting local debate, local culture, maintaining accountability systems within our economies and political systems, that's even more critical, that we've got to be maintaining those local sources of media. And I think in the end, people, Papua New Guineans want to watch Papua New Guineans. Papua New Guineans want to listen to Papua New Guineans. They don't want to be listening to some guy, that's their preference. And so, we have to stay, as long as we can stay in touch and stay relevant and stay focused on that, we will prevail. Well, I think the vision is that as brands, we will continue to survive, but we will no longer be just a radio station, and we will be accessed in so many different ways. And so we will have our listeners, and what our objective is to be able to say to our users and our listeners, look, there are so many ways in which we can be in touch with you. We can be in touch with you the traditional way on the radio. We can be in touch with you via our website. We can be in touch with you via our social media accounts. We will be doing stuff on the street with our event company and so on. And then all the material, different types of material that we can be doing on our websites, which says, hey, listen to the radio, the music, the great music on our radio stations, but by the way, we've also got a talk show on our website which gives you a detailed outline of a particular issue, for example, or maybe it's something that's just fun, which is sitting side by side. So consumers can be listening to the radio, watching what they're doing, we're doing on the website, on their mobile phone, and so on. It's going to be a multi-dimensional experience, and that's the future. It could be, it's a bit daunting, but personally I find it very exciting, and it keeps me young, and it's fascinating to watch new generations who are very used to this, producing this kind of material as a daily experience, and then bringing them into the organization and then letting them loose and giving them resources and seeing how they express themselves. And that's really cool. I get very excited about it. That's the thing that gives me hope, and I look forward. It keeps me young.
When we talk about beginnings, it's a lot of firsts. Can you remember the first song that was played on NAU FM? We took to the streets to find out.
What do you think was the first song that was played on NAU FM? You can guess any kind of song.
Lopo Pauta.
I think MLTR, Michael Lansrock, one of these Bed of Roses, I guess that's the only
the categories are close.
One of Chris Brown's song or Justin Bieber.
Basil Greek, something like that.
Okay, I'd say Backstreet Boys. I forgot the song. I just heard it yesterday.
First plus song Amba Maria Lagona Yugo.
It's fine. I would say it's in the same category. You?
Michael Lenz.
That was very close. But the actual song that played, the first song that played on NAU FM was this. This was the first song that was played on NAU FM.
Oh.
Bend. I swear. No, it's a classic. But yeah, thank you.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of team members begin or build a career here at PNG FM. We sat down with one of those people, Miss Mary Corral, Director of Sales, PNG FM. This is her story.
Hi, I'm Mary Corral, Director of Sales. Well, so it started with, I love music for starters. My dad was also in radio. So joining radio, I didn't see myself joining radio in the near future. A year after my dad passed away, I joined PNG FM. Fast forward, I joined PNG FM as a receptionist, and the rest is history. So I started off as a receptionist, 1 year in the role, then got the opportunity to move into sales. So I was a junior sales executive for like 3 years, then promoted into senior sales executive, and then to IC for the director of sales, then moved into the role as director of sales. I would say working behind the scenes, working for the biggest radio networks here in the country in South Pacific, and it's been quite a journey, and yeah, exciting at times, and yeah. I would say self-doubt. I underestimated myself and my capabilities, but as time went by, I had great mentors there that have guided me throughout my journey till I'm here now. I would say moving into the sales department, I got the opportunity to take my first business travel to Suva, Fiji. So there have been so many other highlights, but that's still my favorite one because work took me overseas. Yeah.
What did you enjoy about that?
The food. Yeah, I couldn't get. I love roti, and I went to Fiji and I just went all out. Then they have the barbecue option, and it's kind of like lamb flips, but yeah, food. Apply. One thing with PNG FM, PNG FM nurtures young individuals, also promotes internal growth. Shaz is a classic example of that, and there's so many opportunities once you join into radio, and yeah, get out of the comfort zone and grab on to any opportunities that come your way.
All right, it's Aki with PNG FM. We're going to show you how to get to our new office after the traffic. Whoa, whoa! Very important, you got to look both ways before you cross the road. If there's a car coming that way, so just gonna wait a bit. And here it is. Yes, and this is the new building.